Thank you. Okay, great. I'm sending a send request now to get share access. Perfect. Okay, so let me make sure I'm sharing the right screen. There we go. So yes, we are, my company's name is IEP&Me, but our platform itself is called CollaboratED. And that is because we have software that supports all sorts of individual learning plans from IEPs to 504s, gifted and talented plans, multilingual learner plans. So while we started in the special education space with IEPs, and that's core to who we like to support, we also support other types of individualized learning plans on our CollaboratED platform, and really just wanted to build out a software to empower educators, students, families, and the whole community of adult cheerleaders that we have around our students. As I mentioned before, for educators by educators, my co-founder and I were both former educators and really wanted to think about ours to make sure that we had a technology that wasn't just built for technology that wasn't built for compliance and then teachers had to use it, really built a software for educators, for families, for students to create transparency and clarity in the process that was really for them and with intentionality. So without going too much into the tech side, when you think about the special education process, we really wanted to think about the improvement of four major areas: accessibility, collaboration, efficiency, and compliance. Because right now, a lot of these processes just sort of happen in very, very siloed spaces. Someone's worried about compliance, someone's worried about the IP at a glance, someone's trying to get input, there's paper everywhere, there's emails, there's text messages, and it's thinking about how do we bring everyone together. So the first big thing we thought about was accessibility. And what you'll see here is that we do have a customized access for all team members. So on our special education individual learning plan platform, parents have a login, students have a login, administrators have a login, and teachers have a login from special education through general education to make sure that everyone has the same most up-to-date information on where the student is, and we're not relying on the printouts or the emails or the PDF scans from the beginning of the school year. And then that continues to update. We sync with the school student information system to ensure that team members, particularly in the secondary space, when students may change schedules a little bit more frequently, you always know who are the most up-to-date case managers, who's the most up-to-date guardian of record, math teacher, related service provider, who are these individuals that need to be on the team. So everyone who needs access actually has access to the information they need timely as schedules are updated. And this includes families, of course. And then my favorite part, we take the student IEP, which I'm sure all of you have seen, and we take that 12-point Times New Roman scan and we turn this into this living and breathing document where you can find all the core information you need, from the goals to the accommodations to the behavior plans, making it really, really digestible for all sorts of individuals, thinking a lot about families and students, but then also general education teachers, first year teachers who just haven't seen an IEP before. How can we make sure all the same core information is there, but in a way that's really digestible and easy to find the information that you're looking for? And with accessibility, particularly when we're thinking about our families and our staff who may read and or speak in a language that the IP wasn't written in, we have instant translation so that not just the headings, not just the core information, all the information throughout an individual plan and any communication that you may be having with a teacher is instantly translated in a more accurate way than Google Translate or some of the other more common tools that we see happening, so that all families and all community members feel like they can truly engage in the special education process and not just have to wait for the standalone meeting where there might be a translation opportunity available. And with that access, we always also want to make sure it was mobile optimized. Not all individuals have a desktop that they're on all day or a laptop. So making sure that you can still pull this information on a mobile device if that's your main form of access to broadband or internet access. And or if you're a teacher in the classroom and you just need to pull up who has accommodations and you don't want to come back to your computer, or if you're more of a iPad tablet teacher, just making sure that it's mobile optimized so everyone has access to the information that they need when they need it. And in my dream world, students, I'm a pro cell phoner. Students can actually self-advocate, particularly when they get to high school, so they can practice self-advocacy for their needs and their accommodations as they prepare for their transition into post-secondary, where they legally will have to self-advocate because university and post-secondary programs are not required to file IEPs without that self-advocacy piece. So we have a few things that we use artificial intelligence to support on the front end. One is we have a CollaboratED help guide to help easy access to instant support on using the platform itself. So whether you are a family member or a teacher who just got to the district, you're able to really look up a glossary of terms, ask any simple questions to try to limit the amount of tech support and or leadership support required to be able to navigate the system itself to make it really usable for any user that may be trying to access digital binders for our students. As well as an AI assistant, we call him Eddie. And Eddie gives instant expert advice on learning and thinking about learning differences. So Eddie is built off of a partnership with understood.org and their research. Because while I am a huge fan of generative AI tools, we know that the World Wide Web has a ton of misinformation, particularly when it comes to learning differences in the disability space. So we were really intentional here to build out an assistant with high quality research so that people can get tips, resources, and actual linked supports as they're thinking about how to best support students with learning differences. Within our system, we've built out tools for seamless progress reporting, again, to try to avoid putting this information on less secure spaces so that teachers can quickly go through and give updates on how students are doing on their IEPs and can share them with families instantly within the system. So again, it's not another letter, it's not another, something in the folder inside the student's book bag. Parents can log in and quickly see those progress reports and see how their students are doing on their IEP with the cadence that is provided by individual districts so that there's a little bit more updates coming in this digital, easy to access way for families without waiting for the end of the school year. And more on the district administrator level, we do have user and permissions access to ensure that everybody knows exactly who has access to what. There is a world, as educators, we know, we may not want families to see the draft of the IEP until it's the final draft, right? So we have permissions to make sure that the right users are seeing the right information as to not overwhelm or share too early information, but also make sure everyone feels secure from teacher to family logging onto the platform and ensuring that they have the flexibility to see and have access to what they need. And then a report wizard. This isn't as much on the family side, but on the school side, very specifically, teachers, district leaders able to pull out those reports in order to stick with compliance, think about school and district specific needs as they're measuring progress towards their strategic plan goals or any other goals they may have for students with learning differences. So that was really quick, kind of high level of the major features of the platform. And I figured after this, we could go ahead and try it out. If you go to collaborated.app/demo or iepme.com/demo, you can see and sort of play around with our sandbox. It's a very generic version, but to see some of the other tools and opportunities that are provided with our platform that families and teachers can use. It might make sense. I think what I can do is pull up the demo on my end, and then if anyone has any questions, I can show you on the actual sandbox what it would look like.
Sounds good. This is very thought out.
Thank you. We really tried to think through just all the stakeholders on our IEP team and thinking like, okay, what are some of the things that would be helpful? I can even go into more details of some of the other things we thought out to really streamline this process. We thought a lot about small things like when does it time out? Because if you have to run to the hallway for a transition, we cannot lose our entire draft just because we didn't have time to press save. So things like that. For better or worse, you don't necessarily want rich text. Um, I depending on your mood, you don't want to be able to put a certain word in bold, underlined, in red on an IEP to evoke any sort of emotion. You want to keep it sort of standard. So it's like, oh, actually, we don't need color options on our IEP writing tool. And all those just little things that we all know as practitioners in the school, but tried to build it into the system.
You're really amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm very impressed.
I'm an administrator, so I'm like in the administrator part. Oh, it's cool. People would love that.
Yeah, we've a lot of the people who are using us, they really like the user friendliness of it. Um, and just like you can kind of just sort of jump in and see exactly what you need to see and how to get there. And just turning a lot of the current platforms that at least I've used, it's good storage, but it's storing a static document versus making it really living. So to be able to go in and really be like, okay, this is the information. This is how I can filter through it. This is how I can, on the administrator side, this is how I can sort of progress check to see how my teams are doing. Because when this is just a sandbox, but when we're fully in with the district, you can filter it by school, by case manager. So folks at the district level, people at the school level, can check on sixth grade IEPs without having to like go to the sixth grade case manager. So builds that efficiency and oversight.
Are there plans to make the AI bot responses in other languages besides in English?
Yes. So the Spanish one is basically done.
Oh,
What we are sort of in the we're trying to figure out how it should look. Is the real answer. Like, is it like we don't want to have like 5 different bots? Like, do you want the English bot? Do you want the Spanish bot? Like, we would like to figure out a way to fuse it, and that is what doesn't exist yet. So more of a clunky interface issue right now than an actual development issue. It's what does the current backend doesn't allow you to choose the language of the bot within the same bot. It opens a secondary bot. So it's a
okay.
tech issue right now. It's a tech clunky issue, not actually a language issue.
Okay.
But it's one that we hope to fix in the next like few weeks of like, particularly for I think our core markets are Texas, California, Minnesota. So if we could get Spanish, Khmer, the Cambodian language, if there's a few languages, we just get those in. We can start there and then try to figure out how to do the technical fix on the back end. So there's not just like 30 bot options.
All right.
Where
But
do we go to like,
we have 200 languages.
that's cool. Where do we go to see like the resources, the existing resources and like toolkits and all of that?
So I can't basically where you see resources, that's where they live. I can't show you any right now because we only have them in like actual systems. And so for data privacy, I can't show you a real school's platform. But they're listed there. And the reason you can't see it on the sandbox is we try not to make them too generic because state by state does things a little bit different. For example, if I was in Massachusetts, I would want like best practices as prescribed by DESE versus Texas is a whole nother beast and has completely different like service charts and grids and everything. So we try to make sure that the resources are aligned to that state. And I think even more now with some of the federal shifts, every state really is doing more and more differently, even as far as like language and the data schema of the IEP, social emotional goals versus behavior goals versus all the different terminology used for language right now. So just being really intentional to make it a little bit more state and site specific, but it's listed there under the resources.
Where did you guys find it?
I
I'm
thought,
in,
I think I found it said it was coming soon, but I think with it being,
oh, resources for you.
um,
They're like individualized resources. Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute, Coretta.
My bad. Some states we have it by section, so we'll have like accommodation resources, example trackers, something aligned to state standards for particular disability supports, versus some are just a lot more general. And that's one of the things I want to think through more with the student or with the family platform of I know one of the project ideas was around family resources, thinking like what are the most high leverage family resources that could be somewhat general, that aren't specific to, this is how Boston Public Schools does it. This is just like, no, this is just something families should know. In the special education process, and or 504 process, that's another way. We've split it up for schools that use this for IEPs, 504s, multilingual learner plans, et cetera. But yeah, so they're in real life when we have if I were showing you a real school, the documents would be here on the right. And then administrators have the opportunity to upload documents as they curate any sort of one pager or best practice or flow, not only for families, but also for teachers who will log in and they're like, oh, this is our new meeting agenda for IEP meetings, et cetera.
Got it. One question I had was on the help page.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would also be translated into Spanish. Um,
Yeah, so
as
both the help bot and the AI sort of support bot, those are the ones where we're still navigating how
okay.
to make it one bot. Or we'll have to make a biased choice around which are the core languages that show up, and then have to figure out a play where during onboarding of each school, asking what are the languages you would like to, which is probably where we'll land, is unless there's a technical fix, which I wish there was, we will have to have individual bots and then just ask the school, like, okay, we would like the English, the Spanish, and the Mandarin bot to always be static. And if there's a new, it just takes away the flexibility from a parent to decide, and we have to be the school deciding. But for now,
one of the project options was like curating toolkits and resources that are out there. Is that for you to be able to share with different school systems, like things they can upload to their
exactly.
resource?
Exactly.
That's what we would be helping. If like we pick that thing, it would be so then when you're working with all different types of districts, you'd have like a bank of resources.
Exactly. And I think on the family side, we have a little bit more autonomy to share holistically. Most of the I don't call it pushback, but most of it is like, don't give our teachers something standard, but they're actually a lot more okay with us sharing standard information with families. We just have the least of it. So when a parent logs in, we want to make sure that we have high quality resources here and toolkits for them. And yeah, it's just something we haven't, we have some things together, we just don't have a ton. And would love to sort of, if we could bring together resources that were relatively standard nationwide, that'd be cool.
Okay.
Again, the parent one isn't as cool to see when we're not logged into a full school system. But one perk you can see is that for any parent, whether the student goes to the same school or not, their students all show up under their account. So that can be really helpful. It's not like they have to log into the elementary school one and then the high school one. Any student that they're on record for shows up here, and then they're able to still click in and see their student's IEP. And as you can see, just super easy to navigate. If they want to see what their student's working on, all the core information is still here, but it can also just be like, oh, my daughter has an IP and she's working on math. If that's all you actually needed in that moment versus like the pages and pages that often come with an IEP, or
Right.
if you need those details, they're here. And then there we also have a comment feature that parents are able to engage in conversations with folks. And this is where you're able to do the translation, where they can translate not only the conversation, but also the not only the IP and the headings, but also the conversation itself. So to just increase the opportunities for families to engage with the IEP beyond that, just that first or just that annual meeting, or having to wait for someone to translate something and mail it a week, 7 to 10 days later.
Right.
I do not know Vietnamese.
That's cool.
Thank you. And we're really excited. We were able to do the I guess what the Romance languages first. But now we were able to get some of the other characters in some of the other languages. It's been really, really beneficial for a lot of schools, because there was even, you know, some of the bias between, oh, we have it for X language, not all the languages, really just trying to increase that opportunity for all learners regardless. And then you can also download the plan. I know some people often ask, but like, what if you want it on paper? You can still download the IEP as a paper document, and things of that nature for people that do want to print it out.
So can I ask a non-related question?
Yeah.
Who chose the movie that the names are based off of?
So it was a collab. It started, I will say an engineer actually kicked it off. And then I'm the queen of rabbit holes. So I made it significantly worse. I was like, her mom's name was Sharon. Keep it going. Keep it going. So Katie, Sharon, we got the principal in there under the administrator. So I would blame me for the rabbit hole, but the initial idea was one of our first engineers. I think Gretchen has a 504. Yeah, like I wouldn't let it go.
That's funny.
So yeah, any general thoughts on particularly or I guess I should also name when the school is linked in with the family. So the version I showed you is sort of what a family can use. Actually, let me go back. This bare bones version is what it looks like if if the school is not partnered with IEPME. So if the school's not partnered with IEPME, really it's pretty bare bones. You just have the access to the easy to read IEP and the resources and the ability to invite teachers in, but it would kind of be on that school or teacher whether they accept the invite. You still have the AI assistant, you still have the translation, but otherwise it's pretty simple for the parent versus if they were, if the school partners with us, then they have access to things like, sorry. Oh, maybe it's not, maybe this is on my administrator page. But they have access to things like signature requests, where they would see any documents that they needed to sign would show up. They would have, again, access to the resources. They would have access to any sort of performance summaries or progress reports that the school were to write. Some schools can show them track services. Most of our schools, I'll be real, haven't. But that they also have that possibility. They'd be able to see any of their students' evaluations once they were moved to the status where the guardian could see them. So they would have full access to some of these other options if the school that their student attends to is an IEPME partner school. Otherwise, they just have the Otherwise, they just have the copy of the easy to read IEP.
Do you have video tutorials for anything on here?
We technically have them on our YouTube page, but right now they're tailored towards school administrators. We don't have I mean, not that it would be wildly different messaging, but we don't have the family-facing version of that type of resource.
Oh, you have YouTube videos for school people.
Yeah, like the few that we have, it's for administrators who are doing onboarding. So same process, but a different why. So that's something we could benefit from having is sort of video tutorials that are for families using the family-facing platform, the parent-facing platform.
Is there a letter or like some type of tool to help police ask permission or request that the AP goes into IEP and me to
Not
get to
yet.
the school?
So
Okay.
that was why when I asked you guys last time if anyone was on the entrepreneurship track at Hugsy, that is part of that is sort of our go-to-market. And so we do need a go-to-market strategy there if anyone wants to dabble in that space. It's really, we know that we have a product-led growth strategy opportunity of families can be the biggest cheerleaders to get districts to buy this software. But we sort of just have to think of the details of like, okay, what does that look like? Do we try to get 1,000 families in Mattapan and then bring it to BPS? Do we try to get every YMCA in every metropolitan city and say, hey, we're already working with this community? Can we pay parents? Like, probably not, right? Like, it's probably unethical, but like, is there a way to incentivize parents giving us a warm intro to their school of, hey, I'm using this software. It could be better if you partnered, call them. Do we partner with advocates? But that can be kind of scary because schools hate advocates. So, trying to bear that line of we have an opportunity to really support families. I am resistant to a B2C model where I'm selling directly to families primarily, because I do truly believe this is something families should just have. We are likely going to launch I think I mentioned before, sort of I forget the formal term, but it's pay what you want. That might be the formal term. Type of model where we have sort of a sliding scale where if there's a family who has the means and wants to give us $20 to use it, that would be great. But then also, if you do not have $20 for a digital version of your IEP, you can still click 0 and still be able to use our platform. That is something, basically, that would be a great project if anyone was interested in the entrepreneurial side of education, but definitely don't want to superimpose that if you're not thinking about transitioning into another part of the ed sector, which is entrepreneurship and or tech. But if you're thinking about it, definitely a very relevant project for us right now would be go to market with families in particular. And it's something our investors are very interested in us exploring more, which is how do we build out a market for families, not just a nice to have, and really be intentional.
So I actually plugged this after our last meeting to our special ed director, and she was really excited about it. But she's like, our families would really love this, but I need to check with BPS legal team. Like, there's all of this red tape about what we can actually share with parents.
Yep.
So as soon as she said that, I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
this is, I
it's
see how challenging this is going to be.
exactly. It's tough. We've thought through a lot of those hurdles and red tape. Honestly, the hardest part is, well, one, thank you. One, thank you. But then two, at minimum, that's like 3 or 4 more meetings that have to get scheduled. And that's where sometimes the hardest part is like, okay, where's tech? Where's data integration? Who's making sure, who's verifying SOC 2 compliance and the compliance team? Which schools are we going to roll out with first? That's some of the nuance of the family engagement side that can be challenging. But definitely great opportunity for it, because we did think through all the data privacy, data security pieces, and we are able to help schools customize what, it sounds so bad, especially based on this course, but like what families can actually see. And it's not because schools necessarily want to be gatekeeping their students' information from them, but also it's complex. So giving districts that opportunity to say, okay, no, this is the exact information we want families to be able to see, versus they can just see everything in our system. Like no one really wants that yet.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else on the family side. Like there's a lot of other things I could show you that are more on the teacher side, but that's generally it for the families. So I'll stop sharing. But yeah, as far as what, I don't know if you guys have met at all since to think through like more narrowly what you're thinking for your project, but are there any questions or ways I can support what you're thinking there?
Yeah. We- If you want, are you ready to kind of transition to that part of the meeting?
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay. So we kind of had questions about each bucket as we're making our final decision on what to do, and we kind of split it into um three things. One is, as you know, creating user-friendly guides, templates, and videos, building community engagement toolkits, and then family communication improvement study. So does anyone from our team want to pick any of the questions from the first bucket, creating user-friendly guides, templates, and videos?
Sure. I'll start off with what have been some of the biggest challenges in getting families to use these resources that already are provided.
Um, I'll say number one is like getting the schools to getting the schools to give parents access has been the number one, full transparency. A lot of schools, even if they do plan to use the family platform, less have wanted to do it right away. So that's not necessarily much we're going to be able to solve for with this project, but well, potentially with the community, the last option, but really trying to shift school mindsets around the importance of families being engaged in the process. Again, not malicious, just more of it's a safety barrier thing with schools. Otherwise, sort of then the next step is we offer to do PD for families during onboarding. There's not always structures at a school for that. So thinking the how and when of getting families trained on using the software, because at best what happens is an email goes out that says you have access, and then that's kind of it. And trying to work with schools to schedule that time for professional learning and training for families as well. But let's assume that all happens. People are on.
Mhm.
It still sort of falls in the professional learning space of, because this didn't really exist before, building out more examples of telling families what you could be doing now that you have this access. Like, oh, you now have the ability to share the IEP. Do you want the Sunday school teacher to have it? Do you want the football coach to have it? You now have the possibility to share that. Or, oh, you've been working on reading at home, and Nicole's been doing a really great job with boom, 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 boom. You would love to tell the speech pathologist, but you have no idea who they are. Now you can use our platform to communicate that, or record a short video and tag it under the goal to say, hey, this is what this looks like at home, which is the data we would love to have as educators. Like, we would love home data. Now it's like, well, who told the families that we would love that? So it still sort of falls in that space of, how do we make sure parents know that they have the tool, how to use the tool, and then best practices with the tool to really get strong collaborative outcomes out of it.
And this would also go in that section, in the family section where it says resources coming soon.
That could be flexible. I think, depending, we don't have a ton of time, but depending on what we learned of the best way to share that, it could be there. It could be a matter of designing a almost like an email marketing campaign of like learning lessons. It could be by way of the design of like a PD slide. So if anyone ever is ready and willing and interested to do a professional training with their families, those slides and things already exist. So I think that's where I think the creativity or interest of you all we can lean into. It could be a video, it could be a YouTube video. It doesn't necessarily have to be, something that already exists, but whatever
Right.
what Dr. Mapp is really pushing, like what seems to make the most sense when it comes to community engagement.
Did anyone else have questions on that first one?
Yeah.
So you worked for a TNTP and they have lots of like toolkits and I like love them and I've used lots of their toolkits and resources. Is that like the kind of vision that you have when you're saying toolkits and resources?
I think it could be flexible. I think, again, I sort of thought when I proposed these ideas, I kept them pretty broad because I know you guys have like a couple weeks.
Yeah, no, thank you.
So it was like I didn't want to like most of the projects I'm actually doing right now are like very, very long. So I wanted to keep it somewhat narrow to, okay, based on the syllabus, this is generally what you're talking about. So it might be like one resource that might live in
Gotcha.
the toolkit, right? Probably the whole toolkit. Or it could be an overview. It could be a commercial of what is to come. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be that detail, but it's more so the idea of like we will be building out a toolkit for families, and we want them to have a toolkit of resources as they approach this process. So anything within that might make sense for you guys to make in this narrow moment of time to support, I think was sort of my thinking there.
That was nice of you, Coretta.
Gotcha.
We appreciate you. Because
I
we're
know
kind
you
of like,
said you don't want to be directly B2C in terms of marketing to families, but do you have any sort of marketing materials for families, videos, anything specifically just to get them involved in this or to get them?
The answer is no. I have some I have a few more performative things I've put together, but the real answer is no. So yeah, I have some things that could be built on, but nothing I'd actually like if no one needed it today, I'd make something new for Friday.
Mhm.
I've just thrown things together for really other stakeholders who've asked about family engagement. But in full transparency, that's something we definitely need. Because we are going to have a B2C leg. I'm just apprehensive of how, because I just would never want anyone who couldn't afford it to not have access. But it is the direction we're headed. Is to just at least have an opportunity if schools are not willing to pay for something that families still indeed want. So that would also be really helpful. It's just like family facing marketing materials and explainer, or it's like just one pagers, things like that.
oh, I love one pagers. Okay.
And I love videos.
Okay,
Well,
she loves I think we're getting somewhere.
yes, I love both of these ideas. So yes, like one pagers videos are like what I like.
One pagers and videos.
Yeah.
Okay, I already have a one pager template for all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. No, that stuff like that would be really, really helpful. Like very.
Okay, that's fun.
And then even I think if we expanded upon that idea, that we could also speak to this more district level, but more and more districts have like a chief engagement officer or a family and engagement team. So potentially like collateral for families and communities, like families specifically, but also potentially district people who oversee family engagement. Thinking about how do we bring them into more of the special education instruction side where they're often thinking about wraparound services.
Right.
Sort of reigniting like, no, you all's team could also be thinking about what's happening within the school day. And similar with other community partners, we don't have, I actually need, like really need some things built out to explain how we can partner with a tutoring company. We can partner with Make-A-Wish Foundation, which we've done both of those things. Just other, YMCA. Why is it important that if all the kids go to the Y and you don't have any of the IEPs, it's actually like kind of a problem. And like the one pager though, because if you haven't noticed, I can talk about it for like 30 minutes or like 10 seconds. I don't have like the 5-minute pitch. I'm like, do you have an hour or 10 seconds? I'm either like, oh, I can help you get IEPs. I'm like, then you can do this. So like, yeah, a one pager to explain sort of those stakeholders, families themselves, community partners themselves,
Right.
district family engagement teams.
Oh, you want one pagers for each of those. You
Well,
want one pager for each of those.
Okay.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, like if we wanted to go the one-page video route, like those type of like so it's not like so that your final isn't actually a one pager. So like there's more depth to it. The different versions of one pager for those family engagement opportunities and or accompanying videos that go with each one to really explain the market opportunities, or we wouldn't use market, but the opportunities for each of those strategic partners with the software and like the value add. And that can lean into, especially with like video, that could even lead into potentially even one story, where we're talking about all the different stakeholders that impact family and community engagement in the life of a student with an IEP. I actually have a YouTube video. It is not good. So I want to preface this is not a good YouTube video. And I made it for someone who, it was an investor who just has never worked in a school and was very unfamiliar with the space, to explain like how many different times someone might need to know the IEP. I'll try to free. It's like a 6-minute video. It's super cheesy. My name is Coretta. It's super cheesy, but it could give you an idea of what we could do with a video, to sort of story tell like this is why, like this is how we get involved. Like families need to be more involved and communication and collaborating with the IEP. This is why outside providers, coaches, outside tutors, medical professionals might need access to the IEP, et cetera, et cetera. But as actual educators, like this story isn't really good and there's too many words per page. And while all these things would all happen actually in one day, it wouldn't be so positive. Everything actually would have probably fell apart by 5th period. But it sort of goes to the story of, when people don't have access to the IEP, how we haven't truly maximized on that student's experience of them getting their individual needs. So maybe some like a higher quality version of that tells the family and community engagement story, versus the full day story could also be a cool video approach.
All right, cool. Do people want to skip to we're just brainstorm. This is feeling good brainstorming. Yeah. I'm like, okay, done, bye. But I think we should, because who doesn't love making videos in one pager? But do people have questions on bucket number 2, project idea number 2 that they want to ask?
See.
I feel like we get project idea number 1. That sounds awesome. Oh, I guess that was it. So project idea, sorry, number 3.
Yeah.
And which one was number 3? That was like the white paper type of approach.
Yeah, that one sounds.
Yeah, that was more, I think so this is like my 3rd year, maybe 4th, working with folks in this class. And I just remember one year they were like, can we they basically want to do a research paper. And I was like, oh, sure. But at the time I had no ideas for it. So that's more the like, we don't really want to do a project. We kind of want to just do some research and like have a deliverable, in which case it's like, okay, if that was the case, we could do more of like a white paper, like more of the academic storytelling side that convinces some people. I'll be transparent. It wouldn't be the highest leverage for me right now. That would be like a LinkedIn post that like a couple people might read and it might build some traction. It wouldn't be as immediately needed for families and communities, I'd probably use it more on the sort of PR side and grant funding side, while still important parts of the process. But that's really what that is. That's we kind of want to write a paper and do deep research on this versus create any sort of like project, which I will make use of. But if it doesn't scream out like I want to write a research paper, then there's definitely no pressure for that third one. But if you love,
No,
we can go ahead and nix that then.
Gotta go.
Heard that loud and clear.
That's funny.
So yeah, I mean, I think anything that we mentioned, I guess before the white paper, is really, it just seems like it could work. So if you guys want to take time some more, or I can even hop off this last, few minutes for you guys to talk through it, and then we can go from there, and I can send you all whatever we have on our end to support whatever you're working on, and then next time we meet, we can figure out what else you guys might need from us to build out sort of your project plan and go from there.
Okay. In terms of process, and you've been doing this a while, what's been like the most helpful way to work with us?
Yeah, I would say once we get meetings scheduled, what would be the most helpful, honestly, is like a group chat. Because a lot of times in my experience, it's not best practice apparently, but in my experience, so usually like a question, it's not a meeting. It's like, hey, quick question, da 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 da. And what I saw happen is we would have, say, a bi-weekly meeting. People would like hold on to questions for like the 2-week meeting. And it's like, oh, I could have sent that to you like 10 days ago. I didn't know you were like holding on to this question until our next meeting. So I think more informal check-ins of just like me answering simple questions, sending you stuff that already exists, and providing more so like ongoing random support versus necessarily having to have a every 2-week meeting that you've now like, what ends up happening is like people just weren't productive during that 2 weeks because they were waiting for the next check-in. It might be better to do like a group chat. But yeah, otherwise it's just the sooner I know what you need, the faster I can get it to you, and feel really comfortable with it just being an iterative process where, we were going to do a podcast, but now we're just going to write the script, or maybe we're just going to make the calendar of the speakers. Like if it shifts throughout, that's, the reality of, the study into the actual practice of like, it may not all work out by end of April. We just sort of see where we are. But I think the more we communicate quick and infrequently or informally versus just the formal static, I think the better outcomes we'll get. Personally. But I know there used to be a template where you had to put in like your meeting days and times and all that. I don't know if they kept that or not, but if you have to have a weekly meeting with me, we can do that too.
No, we don't. We can do that. Is WhatsApp a good platform for you?
Yeah, either way, WhatsApp or regular text. I'm on both, and I'll make sure you guys have my cell. And yeah, we
Thank
can
you for that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we should let you go. And maybe the four of us can chat.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, yeah, let me know, text me, or call me, email me, and let me know sort of where you land big picture so that I can think on my end of what I can start to send you. And then as you guys start having planning meetings, let me know what else would be helpful, if there's other team members you'd like to meet, and we can talk more about the family side.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Coretta.
I'll talk to y'all later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, you guys want to do the one pagers and the videos?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I want to do a white paper.
She was like,
2,000
do
words.
not choose this.
I know, she was like, do not.
She's like, if you want to be not creative and do something I won't use.
I know. Well, I
That was
start
awesome.
thinking that would be really hard.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. We can do this. We can do this. Um, do we need to meet tomorrow? If that, like, this was the conversation we,
We kind of know that. Do you guys want to see one of our one pagers?
Yeah, could we
One
share some
pager.
of those in maybe even in our folder? So, because I have no idea what that means. What
Oh,
is a one
look, I'm
pager?
going to show you. So
I know what a video is.
this is just
oh, that's so perfect.
this is a one pager. We have a one pager for every kind of visitor at my school. So this is like our instructional rounds one pager when the Rounds Institute comes. We have that one pager. Then we also have well, hold on. One pager. One pagers like when we had to do oh, this is just the our high school one pager, not the Rounds one. So
Is
like if
that editable? Like, can we change the background and
yeah, it's all this is all on Canva. I have all the templates and we just make it design for her with like data about family. We can do all kinds of stuff.
oh, this is perfect. Yeah, like she really wants something to hang up at the Y to be like, hey, families, check this thing out.
Yeah, this is our platform. Like
Yeah.
you can ask parents for, she
Hmm.
wants like little that I never, when we did the School on the Move application, that's this thing in Boston, Jolie. The Edvestors people were like, "Oh, can you have a one page already?" And I had to like Google like what the hell's I don't know what a one pager is. But now, then once you start doing one, you're like, oh, we need a one pager for this. We need one for that. We need like, where's your one pager? So
So we need to, so let's think of what next steps.
So
We need to like know who our target, right? Like, don't just do one for like families, but also for this group and this group. So we need to like figure out which,
who the stakeholders are.
we need to know
like,
how many one
yeah, how
pagers,
many when pages are we doing here?
and then we'd have to discuss with her. Like, I just chose, we have three different one pagers. And so each one is for a target audience. And then we'd have to work with her, like, for that target audience, what do you want to share with them to create these one pagers? And then on Canva, do you guys go on Canva?
Mhm, I do.
And then on Canva, they have all those templates.
So, because I'm better at taking hand notes than I am typing them fast. So she mentioned she wants to address all different stakeholders in the IEP for the student. So we could focus on families and do, like a one pager for families, maybe a one pager for the students so they both know like their rights, maybe, and what they can ask, kind of like your know your rights card, but
Mhm.
maybe questions they could ask. I don't know. I don't know what she would want, but she's trying to address the stakeholders as well as the district level family engagement. That's what I had.
It's
People.
like to me, I was imagining her one pages are like a marketing
Yeah.
thing because she has a slide deck for marketing, she has a website for marketing.
Okay.
But what I learned is you really need just like one page thing, then you just give to people and they're like, oh, thanks, I get it.
Yeah, no, that's what I
But
had.
I
Like just a one page, but like, are we only doing one, like one for families to market?
No, 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 you're right, Jolie. Like we should have
yeah.
one for students also.
Yeah, I agree with you, Billy.
I know they're one page, but I was just saying like she mentioned addressing the different stakeholders. So you have the student, you have the parents, and if we have the time, maybe we can start looking at marketing doing a one pager for like the district level family engagement department or whoever that is in the schools. Because that's who's going to really push this out to the sped counselor, teachers, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just what's going
And
through
it
my
sounds
mind.
it. I agree. I think we have to like brainstorm with her which one pagers does she want and the target audiences.
And what she wants them to say. Maybe
And
that
like I
can we ask her that in like a group chat then? And because it doesn't need to be a whole meeting, we could just then she can answer those questions and we can just get started on them and start working on those.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So what
I
should
could,
we do?
I could create the WhatsApp group
You want me to
by tomorrow, but is that okay?
yeah. Do you want us to put our numbers in here or does it show up when you start typing our names in WhatsApp?
Yeah, you might want to put your numbers.
Where do you want us to put our numbers?
Do you want it on?
Just put it down. Yeah, right there.
Jolene, sorry if it sounded like I didn't like your student idea. I like your student
Oh, no,
idea.
no, no. It's okay. It's okay. Do you want us to put it in the chat or on the agenda?
Or Oriana typing it.
Where's a where is Ariana typing?
He's
Oh,
typing it in the bottom part of our
okay,
chat.
okay.
Uh-huh.
I think once we start putting together these one pagers and we see how long it takes us and what goes into it, it will allow us to have a better idea of what information is going in there. And then like once we have the information, we can say, okay, do we then have the time to also create scripts, videos, and all that? Because it seems like the first step is getting all the information anyway.
I was looking at their YouTube videos. Not a lot of videos, not a lot of subscribers. So it is like building the ground up.
Yeah.
But I think if
I
we
think
can
they
get
would have
sorry, if we can get her some really good one pagers, they could use those as a template to make their own videos, unless you guys want to make videos
Yeah.
also. I can't draw if that's what they want. I can't draw worth a crap, so
draw. Why do we have to
What
draw?
I don't know.
are
I
you
mean,
adding more
it goes in the
things?
video. Well, because her video is like a
I
little,
haven't seen their video yet.
their video is
Have
like a,
you all watched the video?
I watched part of it.
She wasn't proud of that video.
No, I'm thinking of a video of like a student who comes across our one pager at the
Hey,
Y and is like, wait a second. Like,
like an advertisement.
yes, like it's all marketing, right? I'm thinking of like some advertisements for her.
Oh, going to the entrepreneur route.
Yeah.
I think Harvard tries to make everyone entrepreneurs.
You know, a mom at a kitchen table. How can I could support my child? Like,
I feel like to make a really good video, like you have to know how to make like video production. We do at my school have a video production thing.
Oh,
we'll make some really good one pagers and a few crappy videos and call it a day.
I think that I'm on board.
let's do
Okay.
that.
So I do have the capability of video editing because I was a graphic designer before this.
There we
Really?
go. Look at that.
If you guys want to film it and let me know how to pull it all together, I don't mind doing it.
Oh my goodness.
Really?
Yeah, I have the software.
Oh,
So
you do?
yeah.
I just feel like my students will want to make videos. Like,
Your
They
students, I start thinking about kids at school. I'm like, I can get this kid.
exactly. I teach ninth graders. They would love to make videos.
like if you film it and then put it in a Google Drive and share the drive with me, then I can download them and edit through it, you know,
How,
if it needs
how
to
do we
be
deal with
edited.
how do we deal with privacy, student privacy and all that stuff?
You get them, you
They
sign
all sign a waiver. They sign
Okay.
a waiver.
a photo release.
We would also need a specific one for this, I think, because it might be used for marketing. So that's all things we can ask. Let's ask Coretta.
Because they might have one. They might have one, or their legal team could write one up that the student and the parent can sign. And because and this is something that I thought, because I was a wedding photographer and a student, like a senior portraits photographer. And so I had a form where, the senior also had to sign it, even though they weren't 18 yet, saying that, yeah, after I turn 18, you can still use my videos or my pictures. So there's just like a lot of things around that. So if you have a ninth grader in there, then they have to be aware that when you turn 18 and you have rights, that your parent signature is gone, and now you're accepting that when you're, I don't know. But she should have a legal team that should know how to word all that.
Yeah. All right. This looks good. I don't think we need to meet tomorrow. Like, this is what we were going to meet about,
Oh,
right?
yeah, I think,
Okay.
are we all kind
Okay.
of sold on this whole thing?
Yeah.
What
I'm
people want to chat tomorrow? Okay. I'm kidding.
Informally on WhatsApp? Sure.
Yeah, I think that's
I
what we need
like the
to.
idea. I think what do we need to know is how many we need to know the target audiences for the one pagers, and then we've got to think through like what information to include, like why use their platform, like
Yeah.
why did it have stuff like that.
Yeah. So I just put in the to-do section for Coretta to tell us, are these the target audiences? Is there another one that she wants to add? And can she send us all her marketing materials?
Yeah,
And then we could just sift through it.
that sounds fun. Do that.
Yep. Perfect. No need to reinvent the wheel.
Okay.
They have all the things. We just need to put them in a bite-sized format
Okay.
and then write a paper about what we did.
Yeah. You make it sound so easy.
I mean,
We'll be done in a few days.
like, I feel like we will be.
I really like her. I think we got lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's this? Wait, what's this mini assignment for the final? Is it something we do together or separate?
Together.
Oh, right. That's due. Isn't that due?
I haven't looked at
It's
it
in
at all.
it's in our,
March
why don't we
31st.
look at it? Let's just look at it. It's in our,
March 31st.
isn't that, isn't that, when is that?
That's on a Monday. Two in 2 Mondays. 2 Mondays? No.
There it is.
Yeah, 2 Mondays.
Mini assignment one. Oh, data collection.
But
I
that
mean,
could,
data,
sorry, go
Our
ahead.
data
Wait, so
collection
is this
is like what marketing materials do they already have? How do they market the?
something we do together or separately?
Oh, I think we do this
yeah,
together.
together.
Oh,
One of
good.
us sends
One
it.
per group.
Okay. So it looks like if we can get, hold on, scroll back down a little bit. So we have all the information for organization. We need all that marketing material from Coretta. We could do all the data collection strategies. And we can BS some vision.
I think
Okay.
vision is to give Coretta what she wants.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Because that's what she was like wants,
Well,
right? She said that would be very useful.
yeah,
Like if we say, okay, tomorrow we do this, Faustino's making a WhatsApp group. Once we open up the WhatsApp group, I guess I can I can ask Coretta those questions. I'll take that. And then Judy can work some magic and look at all the templates and choose what's prettiest. And once we get the marketing materials from Coretta, which I feel like she's going to be super prompt because it's Coretta, maybe we can like look through them all this week, start pulling what we need, and then set a second meeting for us to just fill out that mini assignment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Let's see.
So should we give ourselves like a timeline for looking through it, or wait till we get the materials to see how much there is before deciding how much time we need?
Look at the material. Let's see.
Do you guys want me to put like our one pagers in our folder just so, or
Yes,
no?
please.
Yeah, just see if there's anything that's like the same, similar colors to whatever they use on there.
Oh, we need to know her colors. We need
Yeah, her
their
colors,
marketing.
what font, that kind of stuff.
We need to know like their existing materials just so that we can match.
So
'Cause
what did they call
mine's like the East Boston High colors.
I can tell you their app colors are like they go from like a yellowish like a sunflower type yellow to blue, and there's green in there. Oh, actually, no, it's like a blue and green if you look at their logo. And then the closest font you're gonna get to that if you use Google Fonts is called Poppins.
Oh. Oh, she's a graphic designer, Jolie.
Yeah, that's why I know that.
Okay, so Jolie's gonna make all the good one. Right, you must love Canva and already know how to do all that.
Yeah, I can see if Canva will have a close font to that. As long as I have the information and know what the thing is supposed to look like, then
So that's part of what we need to know from Coretta is like sample. We need the access to her logo and we need like
I can get her logo right off her website.
So let's add that all stuff for Jolie is gonna scout the website for
A template.
logo, template, fonts, all that stuff.
and then I'm gonna put into our thing some of our one pagers because
Yeah.
it was pretty easy. So once we had the one pager on Canva, it was very easy to make all the other ones. Like once you had like the basic.
Yeah, I don't mind doing this. As long as I know what to put on it, then
I just made the WhatsApp group. Please accept the invitation.
Okay.
how do you accept the invitation? I don't have that option. It just says I'm here. Let me see.
Oh, there you go. You texted hi.
Yeah. I just I don't
All
know,
right.
maybe
I
like
put in two one pagers. I put in two one pagers into our folder. Oh. This is actually going to be fun. I was worried about the project number 3. I was
This is good. Yeah, if we are able to get the first mini assignment due before spring break is done, we'll be way ahead of the curve. That's
say that again, Oriana, because
my
I'm looking
hope,
at my WhatsApp. What?
So you mean I have to accept the WhatsApp?
No, say again what you said because I'm
Oh,
looking.
no. No, I said if we are able to get this first mini assignment due before spring break is done, we'll be way ahead of the curve.
I
Oh,
think
we
we
could do
did.
that.
Yeah, it feels very manageable.
I'm trying to run, this week I'm trying to write one of those the case studies.
Oh my
Wow.
God. I should look at that.
Because
Yeah.
guys, I'm telling you this, it's easier to do it now.
Yeah, I'm doing the
Why?
CCSD one because that's my school district. So
Why? Wait, why do you think it's easier to do it now?
Well, the one that I picked, I've already read it. Um, the Reading School case. I just figure before we read a bunch more articles, you only have to use the readings that you just read.
Gosh. Okay. I don't want to think about this right now.
I'm sorry. I'm doing that. I'm doing
I forgot all about that class.
Uh-oh.
Blocked
That
it out of
class,
my brain.
that was torture. I'm trying to get that over with. But I don't think it would take us very long to do the mini assignment. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to
I'm
meet.
filling it out right now. Like what we
The
know.
mini assignment, she's like, and we're done. Like,
Well, because it's like, what do you know about the organization? What we know.
yeah, no, you're amazing.
And then I'm doing the one
Can
that's
you
in the
put a link?
folder. It's in the folder.
Yeah.
Can we add a link to it also on the agenda?
Sure.
I just put complete mini assignment. We can link it right there.
I just have to find it. There it is. Nope, that's not it. That's everyone's email. Let's see. Let me go back to there it is. I haven't filled anything out yet. I just started it.
We might just want to ask her a few things to fill that out. I feel like I need more
Yeah, we kind of have to
information.
figure out what they want.
Like we don't know her organization structure. Maybe we need to ask her all that.
Hmm.
But it seems like she'd rather us be texting her on WhatsApp
Yep.
than to make these ceremonial meetings.
We should ask for her account summary.
What do you mean her account?
Her statement of accounts.
Oh, can we have
Statement
your
of accounts.
statement of accounts?
I love that. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.